Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another edition of the Oner First Thoughts. Okay, this time on First Thoughts, we're talking about Wicked for Good. My first thoughts, spoiler free, obviously, because that's what we do on First Thoughts. No spoilers. My short review for Wicked for Good is it's going to work for the fans. Everyone whose favorite film last year was Wicked is going to love Wicked for Good. A lot of people are going to be really, really satisfied with this film. My personal thing, as a lifelong musical theater nerd, as a kid who grew up listening to the stage musical cast recording just on repeat over and over and over again, who had every word memorized, my personal thing, like my short review that I would put on Letterboxd if I bothered to write Letterboxd reviews is I think that the subtitle for Wicked for Good should actually be Wicked Good Enough. And I think that's kind of the subtitle for the second act of Wicked and always has been. I've always kind of felt like the second act of Wicked is just good enough. The first act of Wicked is that's the act that like makes the show what it is. That's the act with all of the best songs in the entire show. It's such a like promising first act of a story. The way that it sets up all of these character arcs is so intriguing, and it ends on such an absolute banger with Defying Gravity. And it's like that on stage, and it's like that in the movie as well. The ending of the first movie is so exciting, so thrilling. It totally made sense seeing it in the theater, like why they didn't want to go on and do the entire second act, because it just like when that moment happens in the film, you feel like the movie needs to be over and we need a break before we come back and watch more. That's why it is an Act 1 finale. It's structured to have a break in between, not necessarily a year-long break, but a break nonetheless. And Act 2 of Wicked has always had this problem where it's got all of these different arcs to sort of quickly resolve, and it's getting through like years of events that take place in the book in just like 45 minutes. Like they're just speed running through the back half of everyone's character arcs, and it always feels kind of rushed. It always feels like characters' motivations don't really make sense all the way. And I almost think the speed of the stage version was was helpful because it didn't give people in the audience enough time to sort of think about all of the ways that it doesn't really make sense, and it moves so fast that you just kind of accept it. And I think what's most disappointing for me about Wicked for Good as a movie, as a standalone film, is that they had an opportunity here to make some of these character arcs make more sense, to flesh some of this stuff out, to make some of these character motivations make more sense. And in my opinion, they didn't really do that. Like nothing that they added to the second act to make it a 2.5 hour long film seems to have like added anything that helps the narrative problems of the script from the stage play. It just seems like the very same thing, like with all the same problems, only more of it, only longer. And I say all of that negative talk, and still say it's good enough, which is why the subtitle is good enough, because the second act of Wicked is all about no good deed goes unpunished and the song for good. And those two numbers are bangers in this movie. Cynthia Erivo brings the house down with no good deed goes unpunished. And, you know, Ariana and Cynthia make you get teary-eyed during For Good the way you want them to. And there's lots of other things that are working, like the production design is gorgeous. The performances are mostly all solid. Our two leads are doing the same excellent work that they were doing in the first film, so there's no drop off there. Michelle Yeoh is still woefully miscast in this film. That's not her fault. She's an absolute legend. I'm not the first person to mention this. She's miscast. They cast the wrong person, and that's not her fault. She's amazing, and she deserves the Oscar that she won for Everything Everywhere All at Once. The movie is good enough. It's good enough not to ruin the first movie, and it's good enough not to ruin the experience of watching both movies as a whole. It does have a lot of problems, and Kramer and I will get into those problems in more detail and in greater depth in the full length episode where all the spoilers will be, and I'm handing it off to Kramer now. Take it away, bud.
How you doing, everybody? Here are my first thoughts for Wicked for Good. So I'm going to start with the good. I did enjoy a lot of this movie. There were a lot of really, really good things in this. First of all, the first one is amazing. I absolutely love the first one, and it from the start was already going to be a lot harder to match that film, and this one didn't really match that film in my opinion. But the songs that they did sing, even though they're not as good as the other ones, the songs were sung amazing. They were done very, very well, especially No Good Deed Goes Unpunished. When Elphaba is singing, I loved it. I loved the way that she was flying around the set. I loved the emotion in the singing. I loved the characters. I loved the interactions that they had. There were some musical numbers that really hit the mark and they really made me feel. I feel like the emotion of the entire movie I felt. I thought it was done really, really well. I thought the actors did a great job. But I think, I really enjoyed Elphaba. I really enjoyed Glinda. It was very much faithful to the stage play, if you've seen that. But I just think that this was a story that wasn't really uh, it didn't really have the pull that it needed to kind of bring it through an entire movie. So it didn't really have enough story in it to pull it through 2 hours and 17 minutes. Even though it's shorter than the first one, I thought this could have been a lot shorter. I thought if this would have been a 90-minute movie, it could have moved quickly and it could have gotten us out and it still could have kind of packed a punch. 90 minutes is really, really quick. So maybe a little bit longer than that. But I just don't feel like the story justified its runtime because you really feel like you're kind of plopped into the middle of the story and it doesn't feel like it holds its own weight as a standalone movie. And that's kind of what it is. I mean, that's kind of the problem is that the play itself, you end act one on defying gravity, which is just absolutely amazing, and the movie itself, the first movie itself ended on that and it just blew my mind, just so good. And then the second half of the play is supposed to feel completely different, which I understand, and I think I see the reasoning behind it. But in the play you just get an intermission and then you come back and you're already in the story, but you're kind of there. So the problem with this is we had a year since the last one, and they're plopping us right back into the story. So maybe watching the whole thing would be good, but that's going to be close to 5 hours, which is, watching Wicked and Wicked for Good back to back would be close to 5 hours, which is really, really long. So I wonder, like, oh, maybe they should have done like a 3 hour movie and just had an intermission, but I don't know. I mean, they still did some really, really good stuff. It was just paced a little too slow, but man, the production design in this absolutely amazing. I did a video about Nathan Crowley who did the production design on this, and just everybody in this movie, all the actual technical side of this movie is amazing. I mean, it looks beautiful. The acting is great. So there's a lot of really good stuff to like. The two new songs, I wasn't used to them. I haven't really heard them, so I didn't really love them, but maybe they'll grow on me. But obviously, a lot of people are seeing it, and I think a lot of people will really like it, which is great. It fell pretty short for me, and I really wanted more from it. But still, a lot of good stuff to like. So go on out, go see it. Let us know what you think. Write the comments in the comment section, and tell us what you thought about the movie. Are we wrong? Are we right? Let us know what you think, and we'll see you on the next one.